Today I'm going to talk about how we can bring more difficulty into our lives. The reason why we need to bring more difficulty into our lives is because we avoid difficulty from the universe and we avoid hardship. When you're focused on challenging yourself, life becomes less challenging. I don't know why that is the case, but it just happens to be that when you're working on yourself, your life feels challenging. For some reason, you have a less hardship or you're more resilient, and so hardship doesn't break you. Everyone has anxieties, everyone has fears, and we're always in an imbalance. We're never at the perfect balance of everything. We might find it challenging to manage relationships, to manage our emotions, to manage our compulsive behavior and habits. So we all have something that we need to work towards, and there's never going to be a period where you don't have something to work on. You're always going to be lacking in some ways. You're never going to be perfect. So there's always a challenge for you to take on. And if there is no challenge, there are other areas of self-development. You could be working on your health, you could be working on your finances. There's other goals that you can achieve. And so if we're in a constant state of self-development and self-growth, and we're doing the difficult things and we're putting ourselves through difficulty, it not only prevents hardship, but it also prepares you for the hard times. Someone who's able to challenge themselves, to put themselves through difficulty and to endure that discomfort, they have a level of resilience that can benefit you when you're in hardship and when you need to deal with real problems. You're able to sit in discomfort. That is a skill that we need to develop. The ability to be uncomfortable. Don't make your life too easy. When you're in ease and comfort, you feel more miserable. When you have too much ease in your life, you can become depressed. It can lead to depression. And always giving into your desires, always giving into what you want isn't good for you. We need to have some self-restraint. We need to have some discipline. And that discipline actually makes us more happier. Even though it's something that we don't like to do, we don't want to do, it actually makes us feel better in the long run. So giving into your temporary desires, giving into your temporary comforts gives you pleasure right now, but in the long term, it makes you unhappy. And we've been talking a lot about how the human nature can be corrupted. Human nature can be corrupted through trauma and through negative experiences in life, but it can also be corrupted through comfort and through ease and having too much of an easy life. And we shouldn't worry about difficulty because our nature rewards us for when we experience difficulty. It rewards us when we've overcome a challenge. It releases chemicals that make you happy. So even in that, our nature is catered to our development. Another way you can challenge yourself and make sure that you're doing difficult things is that, let's say you're in ease right now, you feel happy, you're in a good place in your life. You can do something that's difficult. When you're in comfort and when you're in a good time, don't allow yourself to be distracted by that. Don't allow it to take over. And the example I want to give is when you're in a relationship and you're in love, don't allow that to overtake you completely. If you allow it to overtake you completely, the love and the pleasant feelings will diminish very quickly. If you take space, if you do the things that are difficult to do when you're in love. When you're in love, it's very difficult to think about yourself and to take care of yourself, and because you're always thinking that you want to be around that person. But it's good to take space. Love is a kind of feeling that leads to self-annihilation, and it's like an addiction in the sense that you forget everything. You forget yourself, you forget your other relationships, you forget everything. Your focus is on that person. And that is a kind of ease, that is a kind of a blessing. But even in that ease, is testing your ability to stay grounded. Another example where you're doing something that's difficult is like, let's say you've made a loss in some ways. The easy thing to do is complain. The easy thing to do is cry about your loss. The difficult thing is to be grateful because you've just lost something. The automatic response is to complain and to feel ingratitude. But it is in that moment where you feel you've made a loss and then you express gratitude that opens more blessings for you. I believe that when you're able to express gratitude in a moment that you don't feel grateful, in a moment that you've made a loss, in a moment that doesn't call for gratitude, that is pushing yourself to a higher virtue. Another example is when in a moment of frustration, in a moment of impatience, you're able to stay patient, you're able to not lose your mind. When you're feeling hopeless, to have hope and to continue to have faith that things will work out. It is in those moments that you can actually attain a higher level of virtue. Human beings, when they don't react or when they don't respond on automation, there's something about that develops the human being. And so when we're talking about difficult things, whether it's trying to overcome a fear, whether it's trying to overcome an anxiety, at every moment you can be doing something difficult. Whether you're in ease, whether you're in hardship, there's always a time to challenge yourself. And challenging yourself is something that we don't like to do, but it's something that is necessary for our growth. It's necessary for us to grow as human beings. And not only does it benefit us in the long term, but it develops our character, it makes us more resilient as human beings, and it comes with reward. Challenging yourself prevents life challenging you. And in the end, it attracts blessings. The more you challenge yourself, the more blessings you attract and the more opportunities that open up for you. So it is extremely beneficial in the long term, but you have to endure it. You have to endure that discomfort. You have to endure that anxiety, that difficult process. You have to endure all of that, and then you'll be rewarded.